Years ago, when I was in school, I and my brother and a cousin had a plan to take a trip to Europe. As I was speaking to my grandmother, she was sharing with me the names of lots of families, individuals who were from Europe, relatives of ours. And I got excited. I thought, wow, that'd be pretty cool to meet someone that I've never met, who's related to me, who lives in the place from which my family emigrated to America. And so after she had given me all of these names, and I don't even remember if I had written them down at that point, I said, "Oh, so Grandma, I should be able to go to the cities where these people live and look up their names in the phone book and maybe check them out and say hello." She said, "Oh no, they're all dead," which puts a smile on my face now as I think about her giving me all of this information, but it did me absolutely no good from the perspective of someone going to a new place and hoping to meet new people. When we think about how being dead makes it impossible to have a conversation, makes it impossible to check into memories of the past, to learn more about your family. Imagine what it would be like if God were to say, "I'm the God of," and then he would talk about people who are dead, who are non existent, who are alive in no respect. They're just the past. What kind of confidence would that give you in that kind of a God, if he was the God only of dead people? This very question came up as Jesus was speaking to a group of people. They were called the Sadducees, who did not believe in the resurrection of the body. In fact, they did not believe that someone continued to exist after death. There was no such thing in their mind as a soul that eternally existed. And so Jesus, as he is speaking with them, says, you don't understand the power of God, and goes on to explain how, yes, there will be a resurrection of the body. It will be different. Our existence as humans will be different. There won't be marriage anymore after the resurrection of the body. But there absolutely will be a time when those whose bodies are physically dead won't be physically dead anymore. But then he moves on. He says, this has been something known for centuries. The religious leaders of his day should have known this from their own Bible, the books that God had already communicated to people up to that point in time. And the incident that Jesus refers to is the incident of God introducing himself to Moses at the burning bush. Maybe you remember the bush that was burning, but it never burned up. And in that moment, the Lord said, "I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, all three of whom had died over 100 years before." In fact, hundreds of years before. What sense would it make if God were to call himself the God of dead people? That would do no good. When God calls himself the God of people whom we perceive as dead, that's God's way of saying, yeah, I'm their God. I'm the God of the living. I wouldn't be the God of the dead. And in fact, that's exactly what Jesus does with this revelation of who God was to Moses before the burning bush. He says, he is not the God of the dead, but of the living. For to him all are alive. All of those who are children of God, all of those who know that Jesus is their Savior, all those who know that by their own actions they could never make God happy, they could never get themselves through the gates into eternal joy. But with Jesus covering them, his blood, his righteousness, his perfection, when someone is a child of God, they are alive. They have true life. They aren't spiritually dead anymore. They're spiritually alive. And in that regard, they will never, ever die. Moses' body died, but He isn't dead right now. Remember, he appeared on the Mount of Transfiguration? Abraham's body died, but he isn't dead right now. Isaac, Jacob, their bodies have died. But they are not non-existent right now. They are alive. God is the God of the living. And the day will come when this will be so evident. On the last day, when our bodies as well will rise from the dead to join our souls and then be with the Lord forever. Is God the God of the dead? That would be pointless. God is the God of the living.